And I think it just starts with us just being mindful of what we're saying and what we're doing and how we're responding and how we're judging, because the same people that were in church were the same people that were judging him and falsely accusing him and just treating him so dirty. Hello guys, welcome back to Grace.Filled Reads. I'm so excited to be back with you guys for another video, and you can tell already from the environment that I am in the homeschool shed. I'm in the homeschool room. And so I wanted to come today and I wanted to talk to you guys about Chautona Havig's book, Not a Word. So I am so excited to share this with you. So I want to start off by just saying thank you so much to all of the new subscribers that I have. Thank you so much for all my returning friends who have come back to visit me and show me love. I really appreciate it. So without further ado, I want to just talk to you guys about this book. I really loved this book, and I want to just start sharing with you my thoughts along the way, and then I want to just come back and wrap up the book in full. Okay guys, so I've never done like a reading vlog or anything like this, but this is Not a Word. Y'all, this book is so good. First of all, my friend is Shalise, and so Chautona is her mother, so of course I would love the book already, but this is such a good book. Like, there's this guy Mac, he likes this girl and Savannah, and he asks her to the prom. She says yes. They have a little fun. She's a good Christian girl. After a little bit, you know, she realizes, I don't think I have my cycle. And so she goes and buys some tests. And while she's buying the test, the pharmacist is like joking. And she's like, oh, I don't think you need 8 tests. So the girl buys 8 tests. She takes 6 to the pregnancy center. There was another girl who heard all of this, so she knows she's pregnant. And so instead of her saying, yeah, I'm pregnant, I did it, I'm gonna work with it, it is what it is, she says, he raped me, packs her stuff and leaves town. Stop right now. This guy has been through so much. He's had a tough life. He's already kind of looked down. He already doesn't have a lot of money. Like, he's already kind of came from the wrong side of the tracks, if you will, to begin with. And now she's just gonna break his heart and lie on him and damage his reputation like everybody else. He was supposed to be going into the military, and now after this, they're like, we're gonna believe a troubled kid over a Christian woman. I'm like, really? That's what you know? And so it's just so crazy to see the other side of, you know, wow, this. And so anyway, it's so funny because the guy, so this is not funny, but the guy's aunt who's raised him and taken care of him, she's basically just had a stroke in their hospital. And so the guy, his boss, comes up, and his boss is so good to him. His boss is more like a father, like a mentor. Let me put this book down. And he's like, listen now, let this boy here to see his grandma, and he's called the police and all this. And he said they're dragging the boy off into a locked area. You don't think that they're gonna hurt him, do you? I know, it just, only me. But so this book is just so good. Oh my goodness, I am really in love with this book. So I'm on page 80, and it's like 360 pages. Oh man, I am really enjoying this read. So basically, I'm getting ready to start chapter 12. So let me just read a little bit more. It wasn't necessarily intended to be a blog, but it's just such a good book. Oh, I like this writing style. Like, I like all of this. And the girl, Savannah, she leaves. She has not called him back, checked on him, told him anything one time, just said he raped me and left, and hasn't been like, that's it. Like, who does that? And I will say, I had my son when I was, I think I had it when I was 19. I had my son when I was 19, or about to turn 19. And you know, I didn't accuse anybody of rape, and I wasn't like, I wasn't ashamed. Like, I was thankful for my gift. So it's just really interesting to see the way people feel differently and how they express it. And what a shame that she was so worried about what Christians were going to say and how they were going to judge her and her grandmother, kicking her out and putting her out, that now she would risk lying and destroying a life just to save face. And so it makes me think about how we as Christians really do and how we really are, because shouldn't she have been just allowed to be honest and open? Doesn't she need to repent to the one most high God and not be trying to please and impress everybody else? So like, we've really missed this mark, and I feel like this is how we've lost a lot of people. And not only do they think about running away and leaving and saying rape, but they even say abortion because of how we make people feel. So I think that this is a good book to really make you think about, just mind your business. It's not your baby, it's not your body. We know what the Bible says, but leave people alone. Like, we don't have a heaven or hell to put them in. And if she repented, that's it. It doesn't matter what anybody else thinks or says. So I'm gonna continue here, but yeah. Okay, so it's late and I need to be getting ready for bed because we got a long day tomorrow. But I wanted to kind of come back and update you guys. Don't look at my hair because it's the whole thing, the humidity. But anyway, so I have read a few more chapters in the book, and what's happening right now is Mac is talking to his friend, and actually he went to church. He went to church for the first time, and so it's so important that we're mindful of being a witness and our witness and just the way we're acting and talking and the life we're living and the light that we're being to others, because we don't know. And so he does go into church, and he tells his aunt about it. She's not so happy, but he's now listening to the Bible, and he's read from Genesis all the way up into, I think, Job at this point, and he's liking it. He's done that in just a couple of days, and he's asking questions, and he's growing, and all the great things. Okay, here I'm back again. So the way it's been working is that I've been doing all the things during the day that I can do, that I need to do. And right before I go to bed, I treat myself with a couple pages from the book. Right now, I just finished up chapter 19, about to head to 20. And it's so cool because Mac has been back to church again, and he's been taking time and really listening to this Bible. Like, this guy's more dedicated than the people who are Christians. I'm like, okay. He is showing the love of Christ and the example of Christ throughout this entire book. Like, his whole life is ministering. Oh, sorry about that. And I'm not going to edit it. These are late night vlogs, real life. Mommy of 5. Okay. So, I want to tell you guys about the ticket. So he went to just clear his mind, and his aunt wants some like pies or something. He realizes she's not taking her medicine. She's getting older. She's looking tired today. Today is his baby's birthday. And he's just kind of having a moment. And if you've ever been in a tough spot, you have moments. And so he is speeding, and you already know the cops are out to get him. And the cop pulls him over, and the cop lets him go. He's like, but wait, because he knows he deserves it. And he pretty much tells the cop, yeah, I was wrong, I deserve it. And the Lord is working on his heart, because he's kind of like, well, wait, like, he's getting the correlation between the spiritual and the natural. The book's not saying it that way, but he is. And so it says 11:59 to 28. If I become a Christian, she'd have 2 Christian parents. That'd be cool. She'd never know it, but I would know. 12:01:31. Happy birthday. Daddy's gonna be a good guy now. Somehow. Not sure how, but if I've got this Bible thing right, that's not my job anyway. Jesus will handle it for me. Good night, sweetheart. What? This is just, he's having this whole conversation with himself and really with God. And actually, he's just like started his first prayers. He doesn't really know that they're prayers or how to pray or anything. So this is just so amazing. I totally need to go to bed. I've got to get up early, probably 5. I've got some papers that I have to type for both of my classes. I've got papers to type. I've got lessons to teach. I've got a lot to do. But this is my reward. Being able to read a couple of pages, a couple of chapters. Because I can't be working and doing and all the things all day and nothing for myself. So they're my rewards and incentives to get things done. So I thought I wasn't, because I think I already read like maybe 2 or 3 chapters. I think I'm going to read chapter 20. And then I'm going to wrap it up for the night because I don't know what time it is, but I'm tired and it's getting late. But this is a great way to wind down. Oh, it's a good book. So I'll see you probably tomorrow. You know I said I was supposed to be going to bed. I'm about to be on chapter 24. It's so good. So let me catch you up real quick. And then I gotta go to bed. So did I tell you guys? I don't think I told you that Savannah's grandmother died. And so they had the funeral. And he sent flowers, but she didn't come to the funeral. And so, yeah, he's in church and he sees this little kid that looks like him. He runs home and grabs a picture, and the son looks exactly like him. He's thought this whole entire time in the book that he's had a daughter. And the truth is he actually has a son. And so he sees him in church. And so he just confronted Savannah. And he's like, listen, da 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 da. It's so good. Hey guys. So I just wanted to come and talk to you guys a little bit more about what's happening. Because my computer's taking so long to load for this assignment. So let's go ahead and just do this while we can. I think I left off. Oh, I always yarning when I talk to you guys. I'm so sorry. Okay. I left off on chapter 27. And I am now at what happened to my spot? I'm now at chapter 41. So I am going to just kind of catch you up. Actually, I'm at chapter 40. Yeah, I'm at chapter 40 right now. So, okay, so let's start there. So in chapter 27, okay, so in this chapter, Roy is like, Mom, can you tell the people Dad isn't a bad guy? If you tell them, they'll believe you. So in chapter 27, it's been 3 weeks now, and Savannah's not going to church. She's not going to grocery store, gas stations, neighbors, anywhere, because she's just kind of having a hard time. Everyone's like protesting. Everyone's thinking she should file papers. She just really has a lot going on, and her and Matt are talking, and it's now that she really finds out like more of why he didn't tell, why he didn't go into the Marines. She finds out like what an impact she had on his life and how she's really just messed him up. And she's like, oh, Mac, you know, what can I do? How can I make it better? And he's just like, leave it alone. So in chapter 28, they're in church, and at the end, the pastor has everyone to sit down. He calls Savannah to the front. Stop right now. He wants Savannah to come to the front, and Mac's like, oh no, Savannah, what have you done? And he's trying to like think about like, what's happening here? And you know, Mr. Bond's like, Savannah has come to me with a problem, and she goes up front and she pretty much tells the entire story. And Mac is such a sweet guy. He like gets up, he like goes to the front of the church with her and like puts his arms around her shoulders, and her mother and father come up and comfort her, and the church is just like, oh, like you said he raped you, and really you were just you know, it was a whole thing, but it was so good because this like broke the ice, and Savannah mom and dad were able to kind of talk about the issues that were happening and going on in her childhood and all that before they left and, you know, went back out of state because they were just here to visit and stuff. And so you know, now Mac is picking up Rory for like an hour each night, 2 on Fridays, on the weekends. He's there all the time. They're doing things together. He's teaching his son how to ride bikes. He's suggesting that, you know, he rides his bike and stuff to school. Chapter 30, he has a new, oh, so actually one of the times that Rory and Mac were together, Savvy's car broke down, so she had to get it fixed, and Matt gave her his truck and he walked home and all the things, and Roy got a new room and Savvy did just a really good job on it. And you know, everything starts to look up, but then all of a sudden Roy is coming home with like bruises and, you know, and marks and different things. And basically, the school kind of got CPS involved. Like they didn't know if it was the parents, the owner, what was happening. And the truth was, Roy was being bullied at school by a kid. And I think it was like he was taking his homework and like beating him up. I'm like, this is crazy. So they had that whole thing. And then they had another incident where they thought that Roy ran away. It's a whole thing. And he didn't run away, but he just wanted to see his Aunt Clara because they thought maybe the Aunt Clara was abusing him. He couldn't see Aunt Clara. So it was just a lot, but it's just a really good book. And, you know, outside of that, I think when we started getting into chapter 33, I think around this time is when they are, or maybe let's just say 33, 34. Now Matt is watching movies with him, having dinner with him, having breakfast with him, and you know, it's just a little bit more. And then when we're kind of wrapping up chapter like 36 or whatever, they're going out. They have went out to the movies, and it was really funny because one time they were in a restaurant. Mac was in a restaurant with someone, and then Savvy was in a restaurant with her friends and talking about him, and he's like, hey, if I reach over the roof, I could touch your head right now. That was really funny because she's talking about him, but he's right there and you could hear it. But yeah, that's what's it. So now we're kind of where Grandma is, well, not Grandma, well, yes, Grandma, which is Savvy's mom, is asking about, my children are running right in front of my window playing. So Grandma is asking for Savvy and Roy to come. They invited Mac. He's like, nah, I can't leave Aunt Clara. And Aunt Clara's like, they didn't even invite you late to Thanksgiving. You should try to find somebody else. And he's like, no, they invited me, but I can't leave you. So this night, Roy is like, hey, Dad, can we take Aunt Clara with us? And he's like, oh, okay. And so he's like, let me talk to Savvy because he hasn't talked to her yet. And that is kind of where we are. Now, Savvy grew up not celebrating Halloween because we know why. And Matt grew up celebrating it every single year. And so they're just trying to navigate, you know, this life. And so they kind of come to this cool compromise that I really like. But I will say one of the things that I like the most about this book, and I probably only have, well, let's see, there are 40, I only have like probably 3 or 4 more chapters to go. What I really like is how they like show a united front, like how Savvy and Mac are like on the same page, on the same team. And I think it's absolutely amazing. They really are great parents, and they really are great co-parents, and I absolutely love it. I would love to just finish this book, but I do have some work to do. And this, because people want to know, well, how do you read so many books? I can't be, and I'm a full-time student, and mom, and wife, and all the things. We've talked about that in other videos. But it's like, I just can't study and do work and might be mom all day. Like, I need some time to myself. These assignments are hard. I have a lot of them. And so the way I motivate myself is I get my assignment done, I can read a few chapters. Get my work done, and at the end of the day I can have 1 hour to read, and so it works really well for me in that it's motivation. So I'm not gonna not read. Reading helps me get everything else done, especially that schoolwork, or at least right now. Semester's almost over, and that's it. So let me do this, and I'll be back to share some more final thoughts. I'm not really sure how I'm going to put this all together, but I just thought it would be so amazing to share and review and summary and recap, like, all in one, and to hear and see my thoughts. This is really good. So I think I left off talking about chapter 40, and there was 47 chapters in the book. So when I left off at 40, Matt was tucking in Rory, and Grandma was calling and saying that he could come for Thanksgiving, and he wanted to go, but then his aunt got sick, and so they ended up not going. And really what ended up happening was the mom and dad then came to them, and that was such a beautiful thing. I think that event worked out perfectly. They were able to talk about some things. The dad was able to talk to Matt. They were able to talk about a little argument they had, and it was just such a great way to celebrate together. So without giving away too many spoilers, which, I mean, I'm pretty sure I've given away a lot already, it was just really good. The mom made Rory go to the party of the boy who was bullying him, and he obviously did not want to go, and Matt thought it was crazy for him to go, and even her mom and dad didn't think it was a good idea for them to go, but they did go. And at the end, I'll just say it this way, Rory got his wish. I will say that Savannah and Mac all got their wish. They all got what they wanted. I think this was such a great book by Chautona Havig. I really enjoyed it. I don't think that there is anything that I would do differently. I definitely give it a 5-star. This book drew me in so many ways, and I cannot wait for this Ready or Not by her. I have that, and I am going to be reading that next. She wrote this book, and she talks about in the author's note about how that Savannah had never really had her faith tested. And so it makes me think about this too sometimes. Like, if you've really never had your faith tested, if you've really never gone through something, then you really don't know what you would do. And there's just a lot of things, a lot of uncertainties and things that you can have. I don't judge Savannah. I don't judge her at all. I really loved this book from the perspective of being able to see both sides. I really love the fact that he never defended himself. How incredibly hard and absolutely difficult would it be to not defend yourself when you are faced with so many accusations, so much opposition? You know, he could not go into the military because of this. The whole town talked about him and ostracized him because of this. This thing really affected his entire life, this false accusation that he received. And so it's just a really interesting thing. Say a word. And I just wonder how many of us would have had what it took to not say a word. And you know, I do applaud Savannah for coming back and for trying, for giving him another chance. And I just wish that things could have worked out better the first time. So for Rory, so that he could have had his parents the entire time, because he was such a loved and wanted child. But we know that things don't always work out the way that we want them to, but they always turn out well in the end. And I hope that this book is encouraging to anyone who might be going through a similar situation, anyone who might be wanting to reconcile with their child's father, with anyone who is, you know, considering adoption and then maybe deciding not to go along with it. I just hope this book is encouraging and that it touches you guys. It touched me. I was a teen mom. I had my first son when I think I was 19. And so this book just from the very beginning just really called to me, and I just really loved the aspects of faith. I loved how much he loved Savannah. That was so beautiful, just to see the love that he had for her and to see the love that she had for God, even though it hadn't been tested. And when it was tested, it did fail, but she did get back to her place. And I'm so thankful that Mac had good, wholesome people like his boss and his friend that could really point him in the right direction that ultimately led him to Christ. And so I want to just wrap it up by saying we don't know who's watching us, who's looking at us, how our weakness is being portrayed and seen and going forth. And so I just think it's so important that we conduct ourselves in a way that if someone were looking at us, we would be drawing them closer instead of pushing them further. And I think it just starts with us just being mindful of what we're saying and what we're doing and how we're responding and how we're judging, because the same people that were in church were the same people that were judging him and falsely accusing him and just treating him so dirty. And so it really pushed faith away from him. But how many of you know that you can share your faith without preaching it, without badgering and beating up or anything like that? And that's what his friend did. And ultimately, that's what led him to Christ. So thank you so much, Chautona, for this beautiful book that you have written. It was a treasure. I think I got it at Thrift Books, but it was such a great book. And like I said, I have a few more of her books that I just received, and I will be reading through those and coming back to review those, because if they're anything like this, I am going to be so excited. Well, guys, I am never out of words, but I am out of time. Until the next video, read another book and blessings.